Here's the first quote. The Commanders know they're going to get their asses kicked today. Mike Florio, host of Pro Football Talk on NBC Sports, told a story Friday morning, the day of the NFC Championship, January 26, 2025. By the way, I don't know if I believe this. I'm just telling you what's being reported. Someone I know who was very well plugged in said, quote, the Commanders know they're going to get their asses kicked today, and they're just kind of bracing for it. Florio continued on air saying that his inside source told him that the day prior to the beginning of the NFC's title game in Philly, I know people in the building, they know what's coming. What is your opinion on that?
Seems very flimsy.
It's very vague.
Doesn't seem like there's a lot to it.
It's very...
I mean, it's possible.
It could have been just one guy.
Yeah, it's possible in this regard. When we talked about the matchup and we started going position for position, to a man, we all said that Philadelphia had a better offensive line, had a better running back, had better wide receivers, better defense. The whole defense was better.
Yeah.
I mean, you were hard-pressed to find spots where Washington was as good, if not better, talent-wise.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is that they just beat them a few weeks earlier.
But that was with Pickett, right?
The Philly fans would say Hurts was concussed.
For 50 of 60 minutes, it was
Devontae
Pickett.
Smith had the drop at the end where if he catches it,
here's the thing.
They win the game.
We know that, listen, we've had Mike Florio on the show for 25 years, okay? Dating back to before he was on TV and everything. We just had the little blog. He is kind of, he wouldn't like this characterization, but he's into like the gossip of the NFL, right?
Yeah.
He's into the gossip of the NFL. I don't think he makes up things.
No, he doesn't.
We know him personally a little bit. He seems to be a man of character. I think somebody told him that.
Probably. And if not, a couple people might have just said, hey, look, it's going to be tough. Like, they might have said it in a different way, like, hey, it's going to be really tough for us. They
just relayed it that way.
They've got an amazing offensive line. They've got Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I buy that.
They might have said something like, hey, we were kind of lucky the last game, fortunate. We played against Kenny Pickett. Now it's Jalen Hurts.
We know it's going to be tough.
We're going on the road.
And then the intermediary person said they know they're going to get their asses kicked. That's possible.
What were the odds in that game? I mean, Philly was a pretty strong favorite.
Probably a 7.5.
I'm going to guess.
But that's not overwhelming.
It's
that's
not
not knowing you're going to get your ass kicked.
I just have a hard time believing somebody high up in the organization. I don't know if it's a higher up. It could be a minion.
Well, could have been a scout.
Could have been a scout.
We're just going to get our ass beat. We're going to get our ass beat today. Like we don't have a chance today. Like that doesn't sound like the
No, but I think JP's
in
portrayal is maybe more, hey, listen, we know this is a tough football team we're playing. That they're kind of like, other than at quarterback, they might be better at us in every position.
They're damn good at home.
Yeah.
We just beat them.
That could be that way. And then the guy interprets it.
Remember, the number one thing, too, was Washington had a terrible rush defense all season long.
Yeah.
And they're going up against Saquon Barkley. I'm not saying they lost just because of Saquon Barkley.
They're pissed off that we beat them just a couple weeks ago.
Didn't Barkley take it to the house on the first carry?
I don't know. He had
3
big
touchdowns.
runs.
The first time he touched it.
Yeah, I think it was around left.
I love Florio too. This is just kind of dishonest by him because there's just no way that any credible person in that organization at the top or any player was going around saying,
no, he didn't get it from a player. No way.
We're going to get our ass kicked today. They just destroyed the Lions the week before. The momentum was at an all-time high.
No, he didn't say we're going to get our ass kicked. He said the Commanders know they're going to get their asses kicked today. So it could be JP's interpretation that they said, hey, man, we know we're up against a tough one. It's going to be a tough one for us. And then it was relayed as they know they're going to get their asses kicked.
That said,
would you buy that?
No. That said, I don't really buy it. I'm giving you
but Florida didn't
a scenario. Because the week before...
Right, but it could have been someone who didn't have any credibility.
But the week before, they might have said the same thing against Detroit. Detroit was even a bigger favorite.
Yeah.
I think Detroit was favored by 9.5.
What happened to everyone lies?
It's definitely true. I don't know if like Mike Florio lies. I mean, does it matter if he lies? I mean, I don't know.
I love Florio. His entire premise is rumor mill. That was his thing. He just spitballs stuff. Just throw stuff out there.
I know he throws stuff out there. I don't think he would throw out a quote per se. No. And this is not really even a quote. It's someone's characterization of it. But here's whatever.
It's almost like telephone game though here.
Right.
Said that.
Let's just say
because even Coach Quinn I mean, we could probably find quotes, Coach Quinn, when talking about the Eagles before that game, would have made it seem insurmountable, which is normally what a coach does,
coach
right?
speak.
You build up your opponent,
coach speak.
and you're looking at a team that had the number one defense. I'm not exactly sure where they finished offensively, but they had one of the best offenses.
It could be a
They had
thing.
a ton of Pro Bowlers.
Could have been.
It kind of made sense.
So here, let's go to the next part. Let's just say, who knows? Let's just say it's BS. Here's the next part. And by the way, I would also preface this by saying, Florio does, he likes to go off on these tangents where he takes one hypothetical to another hypothetical to another hypothetical and comes up with all these like conclusions. Like that's his deal. I get it. Here's the next question, though, that he was asked. Can the Commanders overtake the Eagles, though? And here's where Florio was doubtful. It's going to take multiple years. And even then, it may not happen. Now, I do believe that Florio has been historically hard on this organization. He doesn't love Washington, certainly when Dan Snyder was here.
I mean, that ownership change he should pivot on that.
Most people would say, by the way, most people would say that we've been historically hard on the Commanders.
Well, as we should have been.
Yeah, exactly. We're also occasionally
exactly.
Who hasn't been hard on them?
And then our hearts are broken.
Who hasn't been hard on them?
I don't know.
I know.
Hold on. Josh, here, concluding the segment, Florio said, Josh Sweat is gone. Milton Williams, the defense tackle, gone. But the Eagles are still the Eagles.
Yeah, they lost a couple of defensive players. They didn't lose anybody on offense.
No.
I believe every
starter
player is returning on that offense.
Every starter, yeah.
They have all their coordinators and all that.
Didn't they draft all defense?
They drafted some offensive linemen.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Let's see. They drafted.
You just hope
their first round pick was the Jahad Campbell, so defense there. Second round pick was a safety. Third round pick, I believe, was a defensive back. They did a lot of their draft picks were defensive players. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of hope history repeats itself in the NFC East, where nobody ever repeats, at least in the last couple of decades, as the division winner. But yeah, it's going to be tough to overtake them. And we said that last year, and we said all along, look, they're ahead of schedule. We kept saying they're ahead of schedule. We all said Adam Peters is going to take a couple years for them to turn the roster into one of the best rosters in the league. Jaden Daniels flipped the equation.
He's a superstar.
And they won 5 in a row at the end. They were 7-5. When they were 7-5 after that 3-game losing streak, we were all like, are they going to make the playoffs?
Right. Sure. We had questions.
And then, I think they smashed the Titans 8-5, played the Saints, comes down to a 2-point conversion at the end.
Yep. Squeaked by.
And then they won 3 straight games at the end. So I don't think anybody thinks that their roster, man for man on paper, is close to what the Eagles have.
No, doesn't that lead you to believe that that story could be true then? That somebody on staff probably told a reporter. When Mike says, I know someone who is very well plugged in, that doesn't mean he knows someone on staff. He knows someone very well plugged in. That means probably like
I don't think it's a stretch because you always bring up the Brian Billick wins and losses scene from Hard Knocks.
Well, that blew me away. That blew me away.
The head coach of a team was assuming losses.
He's like, I'll probably lose that one, probably win that one. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one.
Right. So to me, it's not out of the realm of possibility that somebody on the staff and the organization said something like this.
But who was it? It wasn't any of the coaches.
No.
It wasn't any of the players.
Here's the thing.
It wasn't Adam Peters.
You don't think it could, and believe me, a connection like this, I'm not saying these two, but you don't think it could have been a Kingsbury, Peter Schrager deal where he tells his buddy, isn't that the guy's name that works for NFL Network?
Yes, yeah.
He tells his buddy, "Hey, man,
he's ESPN now.
We're gonna this is gonna be a tough one."
Yeah, but
I think it could be. Look. Where I think
say that to a buddy?
I think they all would have. I think they all would have agreed.
I think he would say this is off the record. Like you can't.
We're just talking to his buddy.
Can't mention this.
You don't even think about.
I think they all would agree it was going to be a tough one.
Yeah. I think it's more likely if you want to find a candidate on the staff, it'd be more likely like their D-line coach or somebody like that. Like because the offense. I think Washington went into that game thinking their offense could put up points, and there was no reason not to believe that.
Their defense wasn't going to stop them at full strength.
Yeah.
So that's what you know.
I mean, you kind of know.
No one thought our defense was
going to
stop.
How are they going to stop? First of all, they weren't able to stop anybody running the football. So how are they going to stop that Eagles offensive line with Saquon Barkley?
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that someone in the building said it to a buddy that's like a reporter or something. It's a friend.
Commanders fans better hope.
I don't think he was lying. I'm sure someone told him that
it's going to be tough.
But I don't know how.
Interpreted as we're going to get our asses kicked.
Yeah, I just don't know how credible that source was.
So you think the source is lying?
No, I'm just saying whoever it was. I don't think it was anybody high up on the roster or someone on the coaching staff.
Couldn't it have been a nebulous coach speak thing, like JP said, where it's, hey man, it's going to be a tough one today, and then they interpret it as they know they're going to get their.
If he interpreted it that way, okay,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, it's not a direct quote.
But everyone would have agreed to that.
Yeah, but if I say to somebody,
it could be I say to Florio making a mountain out of a molehill.
If I say to Florio, it's going to be tough, and then I see we're going to get our asses kicked today, I'm going to be pissed at Florio for taking it the next 2 or 3 steps.
I agree.
Like, that's a bit of a leap.
It's kind of what Mike does, though.
Okay. You know what? Might be the last time I talk to Florio if I'm that guy.
I mean, nobody in the building, including Jaden Daniels or Dan Quinn or Zach Ertz, would say, yeah, this is easy. We're going to blow them out. Nobody.
Right.
They all said, yeah, this is NFC Championship. It's going to be tough. This is the best team in the league.
Off. They're going to have Hurts. They have Barkley.
They're pissed. We beat them.
We don't know how we're going to stop them.
Yeah. I believe everyone would have said that to him.
Right. And then it was interpreted as they know they're going to get their asses handed.
Well, I mean, whoever said it to him might have said, yeah, they're going to kill us or something like that. But who knows who?
All right, let's go to Elijah, DC. Elijah, what's up, man? You're on with the Junkies.
What's going on, fellas? We have to understand that these guys, they stay up all night, right? Making sure that they have an opportunity to really get a look. If anybody knows what's going on and what they have in that building, it's those guys. Now, knowing how they have been operating, I do feel like it's a bit of a stretch because DQ protects his guys in a way that statement just kind of goes against. They've been so tight-lipped about everything. What makes you think that they're going to start in the most important game? We're going to go get destroyed. We heard DQ be like, hey, we're hunters. He shut that down before even someone had an opportunity to open their face in a certain type of way. So it's just difficult for me to be like someone was able to be really close to that person and not kind of give them the finger. You know, I mean, that's almost like Mike Tyson. If we in the back and it's like, oh, Shawty, were we in this space? Oh, no, we know how this goes. We don't deal with certain little nuggets of doubt. It doesn't seem like that fits the bill from what we've been
definitely
seeing.
does. At least as far as Quinn, he was very good at his messaging. But
thank you.
He also was a big anytime, anywhere, anyhow guy. He instilled belief in his team. So it's not coming from Quinn.
It wasn't coming from Quinn.
No.
It was coming from somebody who was telling a buddy of his he's known for a while, this is going to be a tough one. And then it was interpreted as they know they're going to get their asses kicked. That's my take on it.
But what if I know someone within the organization.
Yeah.
What if I was talking to that person and he goes, yeah, man, I don't have a good vibe on this one.
Yeah.
And then I went public and went, yeah, I talked to somebody pretty high up and he thinks they're going to get their asses kicked. I could have said that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the exact scenario.
Yeah.
That's the exact scenario.
But again, depends on who it was.
Well, it's somebody that's been around that has sources.
Yeah, good, Ben.
I mean, when Mike says it's a guy who's very well plugged in, it's not like it's, Mike Marr. I mean,
it sounds like somebody important.
Someone I know who was very well plugged in said the Commanders know they're going to get their asses kicked today, and they're just kind of bracing for it. Now, no one would ever admit to that.
Yeah, and again, that's probably just an opinion of that whoever he was talking to.
An opinion of that conversation.
Because
if you got the entire speak,
right, but if you got all the offensive guys together, there's no chance they would have said, "Yeah, they're going to kick our ass today."
But the defense might have known they had no answers for Saquon.
Defense probably knew they had to play A++.
Yeah,
but it's hard to do that against Saquon.
Now I can't imagine who's the defensive
AJ.
Coordinator that looks like he just wants to eat everybody for us.
Who? Joe Witt Jr.?
Yeah, Joe Witt Jr.
Yeah.
There's no chance it was Joe Witt Jr.
No, impossible.
0% chance. That guy looks like one of the toughest guys I've ever seen.
Sure. He'll kick your ass.
He'll kick your ass for even suggesting it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not him. Cross him off the list.
Right. I don't know, man. It's fun though. It's not like it's some dude of some podcast that no one's ever heard of.
You won't do an investigation. Create a podcast about that. Isn't that what I'm forgetting his first name. Is it Pablo Torre? His whole show is he investigates. And we spent some time talking about him.
What did he get
recently.
in trouble? He got in trouble for one just like last week, like 2 weeks ago, right? He was insinuating something.
I think he did a deep dive into the Jordan Hudson deal.
Oh yeah,
did he get in trouble for that?
He took some blowback because he suggested that North Carolina was like cutting ties with her completely, and like she wasn't welcome anywhere. I think that was part of the deal. Yeah, I could do one like what was the podcast, the serial about Adnan. I could do it about this. I could do a whole podcast and recreate the week leading up to the NFC Championship game.
Who said?
And you're doing. I know you're working on a project. I could do a project.
Who said what?
Where I just do a whole breakdown of the week leading up to it. I could interview every reporter, every ball boy, every
Sounds too daunting.
scout.
Sounds like a harebrained scheme.
And
It's not
then-
gonna come to fruition.
And then at the end, you're going to uncover
to produce it for me.
At the end, you're going to uncover it was a tight end that's on the IR who told Albert Breer, who
Right.
then told
Right.
Mike Florio.
Right.
Because that's what it could be.
It's something like
Somebody
that.
told Breer or somebody else that's in Mike Florio's circle that's not necessarily on the team, and they basically painted it like I painted it, that, hey, Eagles are
It's gonna be a tough
damn good.
This is
It's
gonna
going
be
to
a
be
tough one.
brutal.
This is gonna be a tough one.
We got no answers for Saquon.
Right.
Or
which
it
proved
was
to be
someone in
true.
the marketing department who technically is plugged in because they're there every day.
Right.
Well,
But
if
doesn't
it's
have
somebody
a-
from the marketing department, that has zero
It's
credit.
the
Doesn't
same
have
sales
clue.
guy that sent the email about Ovi
Right. The same
as
guy.
his final season.
I missed that.
You missed a lot.
I mean, you guys.
Long
Did you not
story.
bring your phone with you?
Yeah, you're on your phone more than anybody, and no, how'd you miss
Hey,
that
did you
one?
bury your head in the sand of the bunkers there?
When I'm playing 36 holes a day, I'm not really looking at my phone a whole lot.
I find that hard to believe. Check out your average time.
The only thing I was using it for was to log my scores.
Okay.
You think I cared?
I don't know, but I find it hard to believe that you, of all people, weren't on your phone much.
True.
Coming up next, we'll open up EB's entertainment page. Don't go anywhere.